Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Today I wanted to touch on the healthcare in Italy versus the healthcare in, say, the UK, Canada, America, and give you a little bit of my experience and what I've observed and experienced myself with the healthcare in Italy, because there's a big difference that I've noticed. And I'm going to start with something that happened late last week. I was here in the US and got a call from the beautiful Bonnie, who is our resident nurse there in Santa Domenica Talau. She has been an ER nurse for 40 years in America, and of course, once a nurse, always a nurse. So when there was a medical emergency last week, she was the first person they called. And so she called me right away because she's like, I don't know what number to call and I don't know what to do on this and that. And I'm like, okay. So of course I immediately called Antonello, who was up and thank God always seems to take my calls even in the middle of the night. So he marshaled the troops and they got over there. Bonnie got over there and started helping. There is the assisted living care, Villa Liliana, down below, and one of our neighbors works there. So she had some medical training and she went over, and then they called the paramedics. Bonnie said it took them a little bit to arrive. You were in a hill town, and you know, it took a little bit of time for them to get there, but from what I'm hearing from other friends from the UK, it would have taken twice as long in the UK. So in any case, they got him in. The paramedics were great. They got him down to Puglia, did emergency surgery, and everything was fine. Now, the important thing is he had been seen twice in the UK for the same thing. All they did was blood tests. There was no scans, there was nothing done. It's just like, well, you know, it is blah, 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 blah. I don't know what they told him, but they sent him off on his way, only to head over to Italy and have a medical emergency. Now, another great thing about Italy, if you have a medical emergency and you go to the hospital through the emergency room, it's free. So he didn't have to pay anything for his medical treatment and surgery. So that's one thing. So all in all, everybody was pretty impressed with the treatment that he got, especially when you compare it to the UK and the fact that he'd been seen for this before and it was missed. And when you compare it to the US, and I'm going to go over that too. Now, before we left, we set up a cardiology appointment with Pete in Praia Mare with a really good cardiologist. And I have to tell you, it's very, very interesting how that works, because you go into the cardiologist's office, you pay him for, I think we paid him $100, which is already less than our copay here for a 15-minute appointment. Pete was in there for an hour. Total history, did all kinds of tests, did an EKG right there in the office, did an ultrasound right there in the office. Pete had a heart attack a couple of years ago. This was during COVID, but still, he had a stress test and a couple EKGs, and he never once saw his cardiologist once he was back from the hospital. So going in and having this doctor, this cardiologist, take an hour and go through all the tests, there's no taking a little coupon and running off to the lab, you know, it's none of that stuff. It was all done right there. It's cardiology, then dermatology. I was in Bari. And I've had cancer on my nose. You can probably see I got a scar. My son says it makes me look badass, so I'm just leaving it. Anyway, so I have to be careful. So every year, especially since we're in southern Italy, I go in and I have my whole body looked at to make sure that nothing's missed on that line. So I went to Bari. And normally, you know, if I go in with Kaiser here, I have to go in through my primary care physician, so there's a copay there. Then I've got to wait 6 months and then see the dermatologist, who sees me for 15 minutes and just basically goes over the obvious areas. Well, let me tell you something. I went into Bari. First of all, I want to tell you there are no hospital gowns, apparently, in Bari. And she had, you know, there's several interns in there, and she was kind of going over things with them. And, you know, it's not like here where you have a mammogram and you're covered up until the last possible moment. Oh, no, take off your clothes. Do I put this sheet? No, don't put this sheet over you. We need to see you. Naked as a jaybird. Naked as a jaybird. Good thing it was like 1,000,000 degrees in Bari, and it was actually quite nice in the dermatology office. But they went through all parts of my body. They went through my hair, they went through between my toes, they saw the bottoms of my feet. I mean, thorough. I walked out of there knowing I had no skin cancer anywhere on me. And I had, you know, sometimes you get these weird bumps and blisters or whatever. And, you know, they look at them and they go, no, that's nothing to worry about. It's this and that, and it'll go away, and here's some cream or whatever. But I have to say, when I compare the medical care the prices of it, the thoroughness of it, the efficiency of it with America. I'm sorry, but we got work to do. Also, from what I'm hearing in Canada and the UK, they got work to do too. So Italy, bravo. And I have to say, this was all in southern Italy that we did. The cardiology was in Praia Mare. The dermatology was in Bari. And the other one was right there in Santa Domenica Talau. So you guys, don't be afraid of the medical care in Italy. We've had nothing but good experiences, and we feel very well cared for. See you guys.